God, conversations that matter about faith in public life. I'm your host, George Mason, and we are here continuing our series of investigations of nonprofit organizations in South and Southern Dallas that are working on the challenge of food insecurity in their neighborhoods. I'm delighted to introduce to you today Kim High, who is the executive director of Joppy Momma's Farm in the community that is variously known as Joppa if you're kind of new, but Joppy if you are from here, right? That's great. So tell us about, your shirt says you've established in 2021. Why then and why at all?
Okay. I established Joppy Momma's Farm starting back, my whole entire family suffered with the disease diabetes. Some years ago, a guy came to a community called Bunton, one such as this community, to be help guys who had been incarcerated to get their life together. He came there for a whole different purpose, but he ended up doing something different. It's a guy by the name of Darren Babcock, who is the executive director of Bunton Farms.
That's right.
He moved in a house next door to a friend of mine.
Okay.
He moved there not with the intention of creating Bunton Farms. He moved there with the intentions of coming helping guys get back on their feet.
Right.
So what happened is, when he moved he came to that community, and when he got there, he found out these gentlemen had all kinds of illness. And so he was thinking, have I moved in this community and am I gonna get sick? Everybody's sick. He tried to get them jobs in numerous places and found out, he was wondering why couldn't y'all go to work? Some was sick with diabetes, some was on dialysis, some had heart trouble. One guy was going blind because of diabetes, and he was like, oh no, why is this happening in this community? That's when he found out that he had moved into a food desert. And after he found that information out, he was thinking, how can a big city like Dallas do things like this to people? That's when he set out to do something different, to make a change in it. So he created this fabulous garden next to his house. So when he created that garden next to the house, my friend that lived next door to him, who became his friend, told me about that garden because he knew I suffered with the disease diabetes.
So now we're into the matter of when there's a food desert, the implications of that are not just that it makes it more difficult for people to find healthy foods, but because of that, they lose the food as medicine that they would otherwise have gotten if they had access to these fresh produce and the kinds of foods that are good for you, not bad for you, right? So that's what you've done here. You've created this garden, Joppy Momma's Garden, for just that purpose. Now, who was the original Joppy that you named after all this after?
Okay, so my grandmother, Annie Horn, who was one of the first settlers in this community, we called her Joppy Momma. And she also had this big garden behind her house, and she fed the community. She would go out in the yard and harvest our meal for the day, bring a chicken neck. She'll just go around in circles a couple times, dump them in the hot water, bring them in and fry them. This is how she fed her family. So the original Joppy Momma, we call my great-grandmother Joppy Momma.
All right. Now, for people who don't know, this was one of the original Freedmen town communities, which is to say, after slavery, there were communities established for freed slaves, and they had plots of land that were given to them to create community, and yet, over time, what we know is these communities, like Joppy, got cordoned off by roads and levees and railroads and all sorts of things, to where it almost became like a ghetto kind of area without much access to education or grocery stores or other kinds of things. So now transportation is a really big part of this, right? So for you to create this kind of garden is part of this Joppa taking responsibility for Joppa now, I guess, right?
Right, yes.
Not dependent on somebody else.
The outsiders to come in, yes.
So what's your mission?
My mission is to be able to provide fresh fruit and vegetables for this community, because the closest store is about 10 minutes away. This community does not have public transportation. They don't have a way to get to the store. So my mission is to make sure that we provide fresh fruit and vegetables for this community.
Great. How large is the community?
Back a couple of years ago, it was around 700 houses here. Now it's like 1,000 houses here. And Habitat for Humanity is in this community along with other developers right now.
Okay.
So it's growing. It's a growing community. But we want to preserve our Freedmen's town.
Exactly.
Yes. So.
Yeah. So the problem with growing a community like this is it could change the character of the community.
It could change the character.
Which has its pluses and minuses, right?
Yes.
Yes. So you want to change the character of the community in a healthy way.
Right.
In a way that feels as if it comes from within, not from without.
Right.
But it wouldn't hurt to have some help from outside,
It would be great to have some help from outside, yes.
What are your plans, and what kind of help do you need?
Okay. Well, we're always looking for funding, opportunities through, different people.
Right.
We're interested now, and we came here 3 years ago, and I built the gardens. So we was feeding community, just feeding them, giving them the food. Now we go to farmers market.
Okay.
We sell to restaurants such as Cafe Momentum, such as Restaurant Beatrice. We've sold to Roots Southern Kitchen, restaurants like that to raise funds so that we could build more on the garden. So in the future, I'm hoping to have a market here, such like a market like a store, where you can come in and buy fresh vegetables, where we partner with other farmers so we can make sure around the Metroplex we're getting all that food here, and then we can get enough that we can serve the community. Because sometimes you can have a farmer's market, well, who you're serving, 4 or 5 people? We want to be able to have a store where they can get their essential needs.
Good, good. What are some of the produce that you're growing here?
Currently, we're growing lots of tomatoes. We're growing purple heart peas, okra, collard greens. Here, we have eggplant growing.
Oh, wow, look at that.
Japanese eggplant.
Okay. Lovely.
And of course, this is basil. Then we have bell peppers. I think we've harvested this morning, so we don't have.
Okay.
Yeah. And so everybody always asks me, why do you have sunflowers in the garden? Why do you have zinnias?
Bees.
Bees, and plus when people pass Joppy Momma's farm and they look over there and say, oh, look at those beautiful flowers. And then they say, oh, those sunflowers are amazing. Let me stop and see what's going on over here. And I can talk to them about food insecurity and how to eat healthy. So it's just like people love flowers.
Flowers are marketing.
They'll bring you
go.
to. Yeah. Lots and lots of peppers. The pepper likes the heat, so lots and lots of pepper. I eat shishitos in the morning. I saute them in a little olive oil and get them really soft and crunchy. I like them soft and crunchy, but mix them with my eggs.
Yes.
And then some farm onions and amazing. Farm tomatoes, you mix all that together. That's a hearty meal.
Okay. It sounds like what you're growing is what your community already knows and values and eats if they can find it.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So, in other words, it's the good stuff, but it's also the stuff that is based in the history of families' diets.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So we also currently grow these produce, and we just creating a learning kitchen. This is a learning kitchen where people can come over, and we teach them how to cook it. So we just got this container last week, and we started moving some things in, and we'll have our wash station, and we'll have we'll get some ventilation in here with some ceiling fans, and we'll have a cold storage.
Okay.
And so we'll be cooking on propane, our stove,
All right.
Because it's all good to have these fresh vegetables from whomever you get them from and don't know how to prepare them.
Right. Right. Okay. So you have a kitchen that you're talking about over here.
Farmers market in the front.
Farmers market in the front.
That container lets down into a farmers market. We have a learning kitchen.
Learning kitchen.
We have
the
an
garden.
office.
Okay.
We're gonna have a market here. After we do the market, we'll do it in stages as we get funding.
Okay.
We'll have a market where you can come and buy your essential needs and shop for your produce and whatever. Next to the market, we'll have a coffee shop.
Oh, okay.
That's in the plan.
This sounds like you're putting Bonton Farms right here.
Bonton Farms is coming. Wherever I go, they follow me.
Okay. Very good. That's great. And I understand that you're trying to get back all the way to the other street
All the way
over
to
here
the other
too.
street, yes.
All right, so that you have to purchase that
I
land.
have to.
guess.
I need to purchase that property so we can expand.
Okay, what are they asking for it?
Well, one of them is bought by a developer who's supposed to build a house, but he purchased that property around the same time we started. We haven't heard from him, but I've been searching. I'm looking for him.
All right.
And then another property belongs to another resident that we haven't been able to contact. So we're in the stages of working toward purchasing that property. If we can, we would love to. Don't want to take away nobody's property that they want to do something on, but it would help us to expand.
Now, it's scorching hot in Dallas right now.
Yes, it is.
And I'm glad we're standing in the shade because it's 97 on my watch right now. So how do you keep all of this growing and healthy?
Well, I have 4 workers who work here every day. They come in very early in the morning to get their work done. And I was actually able to do that because I received the People's Garden Grant from the USDA.
Okay.
Allowed me to pay people. So we keep this garden going early morning. This is early morning work. Otherwise, it wouldn't be any.
And how do you irrigate it?
We got irrigation put in, but we're currently updating it.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
So you mentioned USDA and grants. So individuals can contribute, but also government grants and then maybe foundation grants.
Such as the Community Foundation.
All right.
The Community Foundation just recently granted us the money to create our Learning Kitchen.
Excellent.
Yes.
All right.
So we love foundations.
Now, you've been doing this pretty much on your own with the help of the community funding, but you are also part now of the Faith Commons group, the roundtable that we've created on sustainability, food sustainability in South Dallas. And I'm wondering about your reflections on that and what you think that coalition has contributed or what potential it has with these other organizations that are doing similar things both in South and Southern Dallas.
Well, I'm just happy to be a part of it. I think it'll help us to get the word out that Joppy Momma's Farm is here for one, and that we would really appreciate people if they would like to donate and partner with us as well.
All right.
And so I'm just excited about the partnership, and it'll give me the opportunity to learn other organizations that I didn't know about.
Yeah.
And so it's good when you have community, and when you put organizations together, it creates communities.
Tell us more about Kim High. How's your health, first of all? What's your training?
Okay.
How'd you come to be a farmer?
Okay, so like I was saying from the beginning, when I learned about Darren Babcock's, he didn't have a farm. He only had the garden in his yard. So when I started going over, I told him I was going to come back and learn how to do this. When I started going over, he received some property out in Sigerville, 20 acres from Collins Concrete. So that's where I started. I built that farm out there.
Okay.
I learned along with him. And so as I started doing that, when I first came to Bonton Farms, I was suffering with my diabetes where I was taking insulin on a sliding scale 3 times a day.
Wow.
I started to eat what I grow, get some good fresh air on a daily basis. That's an essential need for every human being, to breathe some good fresh air, and getting me some good vitamin D.
Okay.
So it's been 8 years I'm no longer insulin dependent from doing that.
Fantastic.
And so I just, after being at Bonton Farms, I'm thinking, you know what? I need to take this home to my community and show them what I did. Because most people get ill with diabetes and other diseases, and they think they have to go in and hide. You need to come out and get some fresh air, and all of those things. It's a necessity. And so I just wanted to bring that to my community so I could teach that same thing. Just because you have diabetes, that don't mean you can't live. Just because you have diabetes, don't mean you can't eat. But there's a way you do it. And so I'm here in this community to bring about healing and teach about healthy eating and, you know, just different things like that. And I'm going to keep on doing this as long as I can.
Now, you probably didn't grow up and go to school to be a farmer.
I did not.
What was your training and all that?
I did not grow up to become a farmer. I actually didn't think I would ever be a farmer, never thought about it. I worked for Allstate Insurance Company for 31 years.
Oh my goodness. You're not 31 years old yet, are you?
I'm 32.
Okay.
And so after learning about Darren coming into Bonton and when I started going over there, so I just knew I had to do something with my health. I tried everything. You know, you go to work all day, you work so hard, you come home, you drive in the traffic, you come home, and you're just trying to figure out what to eat and just the hustle and bustle of everyday life. And it'll drive you fast food.
Okay, there you go. Drive you to fast food.
Yes.
So this is slow food.
This is slow. This is healthy food.
Okay.
Slow.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
You know, being able to eat healthy is a challenge. It takes some getting things together, studying. There's a lot of people don't eat healthy because it's a chore. It really is.
Right.
And it's just easier to just stop and get something fast.
Yeah.
But if we teach people that it could be fast as well, just the way you do it.
Yeah.
I didn't know much about healthy eating until I tried.
Okay.
And I know it was a challenge to do, but it's doable.
Okay.
If I can do it, anybody can do it.
That's great. Now, Kim, our organization is called Faith Commons, and this actual program is called Good God. So we always like to try to make a connection between the mission that someone is undertaking and what their faith motivation is. Do you have a faith background that motivates you in some way?
I'm a Christian.
Okay.
And I'm glad you said that because at the time that I was ill with my diabetes, I worked at Allstate and I was kind of stressed out. I did some claims work and different stuff. And so the way I really got into farming, I had been praying about my health and just didn't know really what to do about it. I exercised, I tried to eat the right thing, but my blood sugar still was just out of whack. Going to Allstate one day, down the freeway, 35, I started praying, what should I do, Lord? This is just too overwhelming for me. What should I do about my health? And so we always say that we're going to trust God with our life. A lot of people say that. So I drive up in the driveway at Allstate, park my car, go up the elevator to my cubicle. God said, you know what, Kim, today's your day. I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know what I was doing. But we say we're going to trust God. I was trusting God with my life. I was listening to what he said. I turned in a resignation, not retiring, didn't know what I was going to do. Had no knowledge of Bunton Farms, was not even on my mind. It was not even in existence.
Wow. So you took a leap of faith.
I took a leap of faith. And I said, you know what, God, I don't know what this is about, but I'm going to trust you with this. And that was what my journey started. I didn't immediately go over to Bunton. I didn't immediately go back over to Darren's to that garden. I played around a few months and it just kept on praying, and then God led me there. I really think he did. Because otherwise I'll be still sick right now, taking insulin on a sliding scale. So my faith in God is that's what I depend on.
Well, there's a phrase by John Wesley that you should work as if everything depends upon you, and pray as if everything depends upon God. But you should do both. You know, some people just do one or the other, but putting them together is kind of the good God philosophy, and I'm glad that you've articulated it so beautifully. That you can pray, but you also have to act.
Right.
And both of those things are important, contemplation and action both. So wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Kim. This is an exciting thing to learn about and a good venture to talk about. And we appreciate you being with us on Good God.
Thank you.
Thank you for all you're doing, and God bless you in your efforts.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Great.